Hi, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? We treating you all well? Everybody comfy and you like the new setup and stuff? It's working? Good.
Right.
Okay.
Questions? Right here?
Questions? Yes, hi.
So much was made, especially online, about the dress code. How do you think things went?
Well, let's talk about the dress code. It's great that I have all you guys here at once because I don't, the best way I can sum it up was, the famous artistic book or play called Much Ado About Nothing. So let me explain what this is all about. There was a memo of some kind that became public. For some reason, people thought this was something new and different and perhaps even foreboding as far as being restrictive. But the reality, let's look at what we are dealing with. We are on a major network. The major networks in this country are regulated by our government. There are rules and regulations that the FCC gives to each major network, and to comply with those regulations, each network has to pass those regulations on to those who appear on that network, whether it be a sitcom or whether it be a crime TV show or whether it be live. We happen to be live. So this has been going on for a decade now. Every season, the networks, and it's not just our network and it's not just our show, notify the producers and then those who are going to be on their air what the rules are in the hopes that that talent will comply with the rules. If that doesn't happen, the network has a liability, and you've seen this in the past where there are fines and so on. So the reason I say much ado about nothing is that's the way our business works. Nothing was different this year than any other year. And so, it's just sort of an indication where a little bit of information out of context can be a little bit misleading. So there was absolutely no change in how we produced the show, what we did, what we told our artists, and you can see for yourself that there really weren't any changes whatsoever in the way that people appeared on the show. And I hope that answers the question thoroughly.
Right. Question right here?
Yes, sir.
It's a rock and roll show, so fashion's always a little edgy or a little,
Yeah, so it's a rock and roll show. Fashion's edgy. Absolutely, that's what we want. But edgy has a place beyond which it cannot go based on the laws of the country, which are established by the FCC. Nobody has the latitude to go beyond the rules, and the networks have to enforce that. Sorry? Oh, I was thrilled with tonight's show. By the way, if I'm not wearing underwear, they might not know. That's my choice, so. And I'm not going to answer if anybody asks. Yes. Well, when it comes to set design and it comes to execution of those kinds of ideas, I have the A-team. We've got the greatest men and women in the business, and they figure out how to do it. I couldn't explain it to you because I was sitting there, as the idea came through, and as you see rehearsals and you think, oh boy, we don't want any electrocutions here this evening. That wouldn't be so much fun, but they know how to manage all of this, and obviously they did it seamlessly. But I'll be happy to put you in touch with the guy that figured it out if you want all the technical details.
All right. Question right here?
Yes.
I know you didn't want to talk about this before the show. I know there was a bit of altered security because of what's going on in the outside world.
Right.
Unfortunately. Can you talk about, now that it's over, some alterations? I know there was increased security here tonight.
A question about the security based on the what's going on in the city. Look, you have to remember who we are and what we do every year. So we're the Grammys. It's the biggest music show in the world. We're in a major metropolitan city. We're in a major venue. So every year, we realize that it's our responsibility to protect our artists, our guests, and everybody that's involved in the process. So something this massive goes beyond in any year just something that's local security. This is something that has security at the heights of the potential to make sure that we're safe. So this year, were there added elements? Those things we leave to our partners to work out, and certainly they were being vigilant. We're aware of that. We didn't expect any issues or problems. We haven't had any. Honestly, as I said, coming in on the carpet, I was not worried for 1 second, knowing the skills of the security folks that we work with from a local to a state to a national level. Sure. Yes.
There was a little controversy surrounding the inclusion of Al Walzer in the dance recording category, and some talent told us earlier that the Academy is considering some necessary means to make sure that doesn't happen again. What does that mean? Is there any considerations of changing how voting for certain categories goes next year?
Well, let's be clear about what the concern was, or those that were perhaps not happy about it. We had a similar situation last year where an artist was very promotional about making sure that their fellow voting members were aware of their music. So what we did a number of years ago was to establish a member website. It's called Grammy 365. If you're a Recording Academy member, you can log on to that site. You have a protected password. All the members can talk to each other. It's a wonderful thing. But it also creates something that we've not had before, which is a means of artists directly talking to and perhaps lobbying for themselves. What that particular artist did was he was very effective about having other members be aware of his music. The other thing we instituted in the past couple of years is every member has a password-protected ability to go on a website where they can listen to all of the nominated music. Almost every single entry in the nomination process can be heard. So obviously there was some influence that came through that process, but everything that was done was totally legitimate, totally within our rules and regulations, and so that's how the nominations came to be. The question for us is, having now this architecture where members can talk to each other, does that create any kind of an issue in terms of one artist who's maybe more adept at being proactive to try to market themselves, if you will, to someone who isn't? And so we have a number of ideas about revising the use of that website so that that would not be an issue or an option during the voting period. Our voting process is totally pristine and has not had an issue or a problem, and I don't think any of the folks that you speak to who are voting members would indicate any concerns about that. So I hope that clarifies for you.
All right, question back there.
Yes. You know, as I said a little earlier, we have a fresh canvas to paint on in any given year, so we don't have a required quota of any particular genre. And again, remember, we are, unlike any other of the awards processes, we recognize all music. So we have 81 categories. There's a lot of different kinds of music. So you saw reggae tonight, you saw jazz, you saw Mavis Staples from the gospel community, you saw country music, you saw pop, you saw hip hop, you saw rap, so many different kinds of things. So in any given year, we just try to create a great show with great musicians. In this year, based on the music that was released, you had some music that had country flavor to it, country orientation, and when we put together, you know, the cast of folks that do this, we're very pleased to have a number of people that come from the country community, but it's a shrinking world today. So, you know, a lot of artists that came out of the country world are major stars across the board today. So I hope that answers your question. We wear you
All right,
out.
last question. Any more questions?
Okay, we're good.
All right.
Thank you very
Thanks
much,
a
you
lot.
guys.